welcome to Mr. Otter Studio. Today I'm going to show you the technique of using plastic wrap in watercolor. This is one of the techniques that I use in my 12 watercolor technique tutorial. So today I'm going to show you the difference between press and seal wrap versus plastic wrap with watercolor paint. There is a huge difference. This has a completely different surface than the plastic wrap. Even though it kind of seems like the same, it's definitely more expensive. So you can do this demo with me, or you can just look and see what kind of results it has and figure out which one will work better for you and better for whatever technique or effect or texture that you're looking for in your watercolor painting. So let's see what the difference is between these two. I'm just gonna make 4 squares on my paper using tape. The key with this technique is putting the plastic wrap or the press and seal wrap onto your watercolor wash when it's still wet. If it's dry, this technique does not work. All right, the reason I have 4 squares is because I'm going to use press and seal wrap on the left side. I'm going to use the plastic wrap on the right side. And in the top square, I'm going to stretch it out so it has lines in it. And on the bottom, I'm just gonna try to keep it flat. So before I start painting, I've just made a puddle of blue paint with a lot of water and a little bit of brown. But before I start painting, I wanna make sure I have this ready. So I'm just gonna cut some squares out of this plastic wrap. All right, so I have some press and seal wrap and some Saran Wrap ready. If you're doing this technique, make sure you have the Saran Wrap ready before you start to paint. Your paint might be dry by the time you get your Saran Wrap or your plastic wrap or your press and seal wrap. And if it's dry, again, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to paint in this top one. I'm just gonna do a simple wash. And then for the top one, I'm going to pull it. I want some lines to be in it, so I'm just gonna kind of pull it tight and then just press it on top and just let it stay there. And then in the bottom one, I'm just going to paint it and then try to press it flat. You can also crinkle it. There's a bunch of ways to do this. I'm just showing you 2. You don't wanna mess with it too much, so just kind of press it in there and let it go. All right, now let's try the plastic wrap. So again, this one I'm just pulling so I get a little bit of texture in it. And the bottom square, I'm just gonna try to lay it as flat as I can get it. It's kind of hard to get it flat. All right, now you just need to be patient and let this dry. And once it's dry, you can take the Saran Wrap off and the plastic wrap off, and we'll see what these look like and see if there is a difference. All right, this has been drying for about 15 minutes, so it's pretty dry. I'll just take this tape off so we can see it a little bit more clearly. So here are the results. The press and seal has this really cool dotted texture. So this is the texture that you can get with the press and seal wrap, and this is with more striped. This is where it's stretched out. This is what the plastic wrap looks like. This is the flat area, and this is the area where we stretched it. Almost looks like ice. So it still gives it some texture, but it's not spotted like the press and seal wrap. Very, very different textures, but the same exact process. So the reason I'm showing this to you is I want you to use these techniques in your paintings, and some of you might be looking for this kind of a texture. Some of you might be looking for this kind of a texture. And now you know how to create it. So what I would do is experiment, practice. Use these different tools and create your artwork with them. Hopefully these tips and tricks I'm giving you are helping you in your own artwork. So now what you need to do is just go and practice these and see what techniques you like to use and what you might be able to use in your artwork. But that is the difference between the press and seal wrap and the plastic wrap or Saran Wrap. What other things have you tried to use in this way? So this is something we're pressing into our watercolors and letting it dry and then taking it off. Share in the comments below what you like to use in your watercolor paintings to create different textures similar to these. Share your secrets with us so we can all get better. Thank you so much for joining me on Mr. Otter Studio. I hope you have a wonderful day.